Okay, so hi everyone. I'm happy to see such an attendance. We are a little bit in a hurry because the timeline is, the previous presentation was a little bit delayed. So fortunately, Tomáš stole a part of my introduction at the beginning, so I can jump into the topic. And the only thing that I wanted to show you, oh, it's missing okay, so I had I had an image of a dinosaur in the Googleplex, and I wanted to show you the highlight of our trip to San Francisco, where we were trying to validate our approaches. I'll talk about what we have heard in this presentation. I must confess that I have chosen quite a generic title, so I hope that I will match your expectations regarding the topic. I'll be focusing mainly on the engineering practices with the utilization of AI tools. And even though I am very much pro AI, I want to present slightly traditional approach, like how to mix the traditional approach with the AI tools that are changing every day. So that's basically the agenda of the presentation. And just a quick introduction, I am the tech lead for last mile domain here at Rohlik. So I'm responsible for architecture and the delivery of courier applications, routing, planning, and stuff like that. And that's also why I had the opportunity to participate during the decisions and learnings at how we are actually using AI and how we are trying to improve our development lifecycle with the AI tools. So what I like to represent AI at Rohlik as three different focus areas. One of them is actually introducing AI into our product. That's basically when you have a voice chat or a chat bot that's using the MCP tools that Michal was talking about and allows you to create a shopping cart and buy the order. That's a part that's very interesting, but at the same time, you don't really gain any efficiency by using AI except for AI use cases. Like you don't have to build the voice bot from scratch, but that's like a solved problem. You just link to some large language model. You maybe build some MCP tools. That's not what we are going to focus on. The other pillar is basically automation of the business processes inside the company. That's definitely a stage for AI agents. We are actively building this stage. It is not a solved area. Everyone is building their agentic platforms, agentic solutions. But that's also out of my expertise. So what I'm passionate about and what I want to focus on is the engineering and how we can use AI inside engineering to deliver faster. So as probably everybody noticed, there are two poles of people. One of them is saying the AI is bullshit. Just let me do the work as I'm used to. I'm going to be faster this way. The other one is just vibe code it because we won't be writing any code in 2 years. So which one is actually correct? We invested quite heavily into finding out what we can utilize right now. We have several projects behind us. I will present. Let's go back to this. We invested ourselves, and then we went to San Francisco to validate, to find out like how these companies are looking at it. We had meetings with all the software developers from teams of all these companies, and it is of course somewhere in the middle. So inside Rohlik, what do we actually have? We have managed to onboard more than 50 developers to some agentic solution. Actually, we have more than 80 people using Cursor AI and quite like tens of people using Juni as agentic IDE. We have also managed to onboard our product managers to Lovable so that they can prototype themselves and they can come up to meetings with some real solutions that we can talk about. We have also tested several code review tools, and since quite recently, we also have Devin AI. We have run out of the enterprise credits in 4 days. So So it's going to be quite costly, but we can definitely talk about it, and I'll present you how successful it was. Like, I love it. I just don't have to pay for it, so that's a good thing. If it was from my wallet, I would probably not even start. We also have Cloud Code available for everyone who has GCP account in the company, so that's an alternative. And we have our own LLM gateway. So if you want to try any model, you just get an API key and you can test anything in your application. When we talk about the larger projects that we have actually developed, we have given time to, we have dedicated time to vibe code the whole project for our own product. We have also vibe coded the front end out of necessity because we did not have capacity of neither a front end developer and neither designer. And we have also tried either during the hackathons, but also like for our internal IT to build with Lovable and other tools, some internal IT products. So when we went to validate this experience, we actually found out that nobody knows how to measure it. This is the only research that got referenced quite by few people, both at Netflix and Google. So you can look it up. And the outcome is actually that AI is making DORA metrics worse. So how is it possible? We should be faster. This is just like I selected it from the study. Of course, there is quite a lot of metrics that improved, but these are about delivery stability and throughput, the overall throughput of the company. The idea behind this decrease is actually that when you are using AI, you just don't pay enough attention. So you create bigger match requests, you deploy to production, like unrelated changes, and then you can mess up. This is another unpublished study from Stanford that's saying that AI is definitely not giving you the 10x or 100x speed up, which is something that I agree. But at the same time, like the only output that I took from this is that nobody knows how to measure development productivity. When we talked with people at Netflix, they just said that they don't use DORA metrics. When we talked with people from Google, they just said that they do have DORA metrics, but even though it's not visible in the metrics, they are still investing in AI and everybody is using Gemini Assist. So I'm going to skip this part because it is not that important. The important part is the cookbook, how we are approaching it here at Rohlik. Also, one important point, I'll be talking about the right part, about the design, build, and testing. The left part about the deployment, troubleshooting, configuration is very interesting, but it is probably going to be handled by some platform tools that you have in your infrastructure in the future. Some companies that are building agentic solutions are trying to handle both. So if you are on GCP and you want to use the managed services and all the platforms that they use, they will probably integrate AI agents also to for troubleshooting outages or for automation of scaling and stuff like that. Yeah, that's out of our scope. So as Tomáš said at the beginning, even though nobody actually knows how much productive you get by using AI, everybody is just like, nobody is questioning it. It's all about like when and can I use it on my own product? Is it good enough right now? All of the people that we talked with already agree that junior and media engineers are benefiting tremendously. But like when you transfer it to the fact that seniors don't have to spend so much time with juniors and medias because they can just ask LLMs when they want to know something. It's also going to increase efficiency there. But also the important fact that is basically that's what the rest of the presentation is about, is that you cannot throw engineering practices away when you have AI. If you want to have long-term efficiency gains from using AI solutions, you have to actually enforce the engineering practices and you have to learn where it makes sense to just discard them because you can replace it quickly, and where you have to pay extra attention because if you make a problem, let's say in the data model at the beginning, is going to be very difficult once you have users, and AI is not going to help you much. So what is our cookbook? It is of course opinionated, but I'll go through the points and we can talk about why we are doing it this way later. So from my point of view, the AI adoption has to start at the organizational level. And that is related to the organization structure, but also to a few rules. And let's say that you are a corporate and you don't have the legals yet solved. And it's not just about approving specific LLM, because they are going to be released every week. So you have to have a process about adoption of the tools so that when new one is released, you can just adopt it and you don't have to go through the, let's say, like 4-month window again. Also, if you are not going to provide the tools to your employees or contractors, they will resist the adoption. They would have to pay for something that they don't know, and they feel comfortable delivering with what they already know, especially if they are seniors with 10+ years of experience. And the other important fact is that if you don't give your teams ownership, or if the people inside your teams don't have the ownership for the project or product that they're building, they will be blocked by processes, but at the same time, if you increase efficiency of coding by 30%, and coding is just 20% of the workload that they do, that's like, you don't want to leave it on the floor, but at the same time, it's not going to save you. So if you can remove processes and you can give higher ownership to the teams so they can iterate faster, you actually get bigger benefits, at least according to my reasoning, than just adopting the latest AI tools that are just 5% better. And the last thing is, if you don't give people time to learn and they are stressed all the time, they will stick to the old habits. So the ideal example is, let's say that I want some team to test vibe coding. I have to make it clear that it is part of an experiment, and that it can fail, because we actually don't know if vibe coding is going to be successful or not. We suppose that it's going to make us faster, but valid result is also that it's not going to be fine. So a safe place where they have time to learn is definitely going to perform better than just stressing about delivery and telling them that they should be 20% more efficient. One of the insights that I would like to present, and that's related to the blocking of being blocked by processes, is that I really believe that with the increase of AI usage, we should all transfer to this product engineering mindset, which basically means that the product engineer is not shipping just the code. They are delivering product, they are delivering results. They have to focus on the customer, they have to own the problem, they have to come with the solution. And sometimes it also means that they have to get outside of the comfort zone. And let's say that you are a backend developer, you need to add some field to front end, you just do it. You don't wait to the next cycle so that you can push it, you can move the task to a front-end engineer that had a full backlog of tasks with a higher priority. So if you want to learn more about this, these books are actually pretty good, but I'm not going to go into detail. I just like the concept, and I think it's going to give you more efficiency improvement than the AI tools right now. But it's hard to change. So like, just think about it. Okay, so what do we expect from a senior engineer here at Rohlik? At least like what we are building, because of course it is not perfect right now. Like even though there was always a lot of ownership in the delivery at Rohlik, and I think that we are pretty well set because we are trying to get rid of extra processes that don't make sense. We don't have much bureaucracy. We of course have space to improve. So you have to be interested in what you're building. You should understand the data, and you should understand your customer. And at the same time, you have to be able to go outside your comfort tech stack, to solve a problem. Sometimes it's just better to use some other technology, some new technology, or maybe just make a change in the old legacy PHP that we have here that looks like from 2000, but that's the reality. And the important aspect is also that you ensure that engineering practices are met where it matters, and that you can make some trade-offs when the output is easily replaced. So now to the actual practical things with AI. If you are doing the delivery phase, the discovery phase, it's all about decreasing the feedback loop. So if your PM can use Lovable to build a prototype, he should do it before the meeting, so that you have something to talk about. It's much easier, even if the visualization is not the same as the production release. It can be totally different, but at least you have something to talk about. The engineer can help discover the edge cases. And in the end, at least from my experience, making simple, nice-looking pages is simple. Making modeling static pages is simple, but it all breaks when you start modeling processes and flows. So that's what Lovable can help you with. Also, a nice thing, like that's for the brave ones, but if you can prototype something in Lovable and you want to find out the results, if it's a separated component, you can just A/B test it. You can just push it to production. If it's a code that can be simply replaced, it's not going to break the data, why not do it? Like, you can create it quickly, you can test it, and then you can throw it away or write it correctly. We also tried to get the prototype into production. We were using Lovable, and we just tried to get to production faster with the result. That was quite a big misstep. And I'm not saying that the output is terrible. It's kind of good. But if you don't share the tech stack that the AI tool is generating with your own platform team, it's just going to give you trouble. Because once the company is big enough and has some platform solutions, and you decide, we are basically a Java company and React on the front end. If you are going to use completely different technology, let's say Node.js and some strange JavaScript framework for persistence and something for routing, suddenly you don't even know how to do authentication. And you waste a lot of time doing that. And you can vibe code it, but you don't know what you are doing. So maybe it makes sense to switch the tech stack completely, but when you are a large company, it's probably not a good idea. So typically, what is a better way of doing it is to prototype in Lovable with the PM, then just take Cursor or some other AI agentic IDE. You can paste screenshots. You can take a skeleton of your own application, and you can build it from scratch faster than just trying to make it work. So that would be one of my recommendations. Although, I don't have this slide. Okay, I'm going to just say it. Although there is an edge case, like if you know that it's something that can be thrown away, if you know that it's a very separate component, let's say that you are building a marketing web page, you are building a campaign for recruitment, or you are building some extremely important tool for your customers that is going to be deprecated in half a year, and you can guarantee that is going to happen, I would just support to vibe code it. Like, if you can get to production quickly and it's going to result in good output, and at the same time, somebody in the company can guarantee that it's not going to be maintained by 10 people for the next 3 years, it probably makes sense to think about just doing it completely with AI. It's dangerous, but it can definitely give you the product improvements that, like, otherwise you would have nothing. So it is an option. So once you get over the, okay, I had a slide here. So once you get from the prototyping to actually bootstrapping a new project, I would say that if your application is just a simple CRUD, or you need to configure some framework, or you want to connect to some third-party API, just don't even think about writing it yourself. It's like, it can be generated so fast that, like, the code that you write manually is, the only benefit is that you probably like it better because it feels better. But actually, from my point of view, I stopped liking writing code because it is slowing me down from delivery. And this has changed significantly in the last year. I really enjoyed writing the PHP standard rules that we had in the platform team at Chipmunk. Now at Rohlik, like, I do have ArchUnit in my projects. I love it. I totally support it, but I have never written one myself. I have no idea how the syntax looks like. I just tell Cursor to do it for me. I write tests and it works. So vibe coding can get you really far, but you should know what you are doing. So don't skip code reviews. Otherwise, you're going to have security issues. You are going to have unmaintainable code base. What you should probably focus on is the data model and the modularity of the solution. If you can keep the scope small, it is easy to rewrite it. It is easier for the AI to capture the whole context that is needed. So like, I would suggest to focus on the data model and to focus on modeling small pieces of the code base separately so that AI can work better. And it also simplifies it for the, like we have always tried to make modular applications. It's just now also significant for the AI models. And as I said, like we are not currently changing our tech stack significantly because we have a, let's say, some kind of a platform. We don't have a dedicated platform team in a sense that somebody would be writing libraries. It's more like we have people in the DevOps that sometimes provide us with some nice improvements into, let's say, observability, Datadog integration and stuff like that. But even these infrastructure details are important when you want to adopt a completely new tech stack. So this is what I presented. Like if it's an internal app for 5 users, you probably just use Supabase with Lovable. It's awesome. You can build it fast, but you really have to make sure that it's not shadow IT on one side. That you have to track owners. You have to set clear requirements from the security perspective. You should probably still run it through some IT back check, even if it's developed by HR. But I would actually say that now it's time to give this a try. And now the important thing, because we are probably all working on some well-maintained code base, and that means we are probably not going to get the biggest gains because they are always at the beginning of the project. But I believe that there is actually the most topics that we can cover. And for good adoption of AI agents, you definitely need to teach it some context. You need to teach it some rules. And when you're using it, you have to give it explicitly the context so that it does not just wipe out half of the code base and does something completely different just because it had a similar name or something like that. What AI is really good at is writing integration tests and writing unit tests. I'm not in favor of unit testing because I think that like if you mock everything, it's not going to test anything. But so I definitely prefer integration tests. And I have actually taught my AI basically on all projects to write a really good integration tests. And it doesn't mean that on the first try it's going to pass them. I have to actually write them, like I have to correct them. But the important thing is that typically developers are lazy to write tests. And if AI generates 10 different test cases, I'm going to finish them. I'm not going to scratch half of them just because I'm lazy to do it. If it's already there, I'm going to finish it. And then I can focus myself on the important edge cases that were not handled. But like in reality, I feel like the AI is handling the edge cases much more than me. So the only thing that I would suggest is not to be lazy. And yeah, in general, when writing the code is the bottleneck, just use AI. When there is a lot of implicit context when there is a lot of implicit context in the project, let's say that you need to fix some bug in production, it has a Jira task for one line, it's a one-liner, and you exactly know where in the code base it is. You have to just you have to change one condition. It makes no sense to try to solve this with agent. But if you have to write a new module, new API, you know that it's going to be 5 different classes. You have some kinds of architecture in your mind. The good thing with AI is not only that it's faster, but you can also iterate on the solutions because you can throw the code away and you can try something completely different. When you write the code like with your hands, you typically get a little bit attached to the solution, and you just don't want to throw it away when you spend 3 hours writing it. So as I already said, you should always review the code, but you can ask AI to review the code. It's a very good first pass. Like I would not just push code to production just because it's reviewed by AI. But if I review it by AI, I'm probably going to decrease the time to merge because the other person is not going to find so many mistakes. It actually works. as I said, focus on the modularity and API and also data. And one of the things that I would like to highlight, and not many articles are talking about it, is like if you can have deterministic static analysis in your code base, just use it, because LLM is not going to guarantee the output. But if you have static analysis that's detecting issues that are easy to discover, but like you don't want to see them, the LLM can fix it based on the message that it returns. So it's actually complementary. So if I have something like ArcUnit or SonarQube, and I connect it with some LLM review tool, it means that it's going to help me discover issues, it's going to be reliable, and it can also fix the problems. And the last thing that we are testing, and it gave us quite good results, is the background agents, because with them you can suddenly get rid of parts of your backlog that you would never have time to do. These tiny little things, like let's say that I want to have administration for some configuration in my application. I already have the service, just I have not created the page. I have the API, I can give it to Devin. He's going to come in back in 20 minutes. It's going to be good enough. It's a front end that's going to be used 10 times per month. So I can just do a review, I can push it to production, and it's going to resolve a complaint from few of my users. And I actually don't have to give it my own focus. So Devin is great, it's just extremely expensive. So let's hope that it's going to get better. But I don't want to be without Devin now. So that's quite good. And my personal recommendation is to slowly push people into full stack development, because it is that's where the product engineering actually is. You want to deliver product. You don't want to deliver just your API that is described by the product manager and that is requested by front-end developer. You just want to own it all. And if you have the specialists in your company that can do the review, I would suggest to have them in the domain. You can decrease the feedback loop, you can prepare the merge request, and you can keep the bar high by assigning it to review, and slowly you will become a better front-end developer if you are back-end developer. You can just learn it. And the AI is helping you, because typically you would be stuck in you would not have the muscle memory to write the code in a different language, in a different stack. I would say that it is doable to understand the basics. And if you have some forms in your application that need to be improved, or some API output that needs a few more fields to show on the front end, don't be afraid about it. We had pretty good results actually with adoption in our teams, and it was unblocked by AI, because reviewing the code is probably easier than writing it from scratch if you don't know the technology well, but at the same time you have some overview what, let's say, React is and how the DOM works and stuff like that, which is like, if I ask our senior engineers, they are probably going to tell you that they have read many different articles, they have some overview, they know what mistakes they should not make, but for the hard to discover mistakes, we have the second level code review, and for the tiny stuff, Cursor can help you. So this is something that I've already said. You want to use it for tasks that actually don't require a lot of implicit context, as I call it. If you can like target some specific part of the repository, it can work very well. Of course, it's going to get better. So in a few months, if it did not work right now, just give it a next try. Like, I would say that if you were disappointed with AI a year ago, you don't know anything at all about AI right now. It has improved so much that you should not miss it. And the last thing, like, if you don't expect that AI is going to write 100% correct code for you. I typically work in a flow where I just give it a try. I don't push too hard. If it's going to write most of the code correctly on 1 to 3 prompts, I'm going to use the output. If it makes completely wrong mistakes, I'm just going to discard it. Like, it does not cost much. It does not take too much time, except when you're using Juni, which is extremely slow. and if it writes 90% of the code correctly, you can fix it. And the last advice for this from me is that I think that in the past we have focused too much on the local scope, and it actually does not matter that much if the code is beautiful, or like if you have some issue with the code inside of very small scope, uh, if it's covered by tests, you can take a look at it as if like some media developer wrote it and it passed the code review and it was in the code base. It's all about like assessing if it's going to be maintainable in the future by rewriting it, by either rewriting it from scratch, or actually it needs to be developed and maintained long term. Okay, and the last projects that we don't like is the legacy code bases. And what can you do here? I would suggest to just leverage the standard engineering practices and cover it with test first. You can probably ask AI to help you, but at the same time, nobody can expect to gain some efficiency improvements in developing legacy code bases unless you fix it first. So I would say that AI can help you write black box tests. It can help you understand the extreme spaghetti code probably better than you. I do have this experience, and I was actually very much surprised, like how bad the code looked like, and how good the AI was. But one important aspect that is starting to become true these days is that it may be worth it to start writing it from scratch. Like in the past, it was typically a crazy decision. But if you have clear requirements, and or the requirements significantly changed, which means that you would have to basically completely rewrite the legacy code, I would suggest that with bootstrapping it with AI tools, you can actually achieve better results faster. Uh, the other way. Okay, and this is basically a summary. So as I said already, I think that strong product engineering culture can give you more improvements than just using the shiniest AI tool. And nobody knows how to calculate the efficiency. Even if it was 200% more efficient, but it was only in coding, it's not going to be that significant. It's not going to be 10x. And if you are coding fast, but you are coding completely wrong thing that your customer doesn't want, you're just throwing away time and money. So I would suggest to start from the top. So that if your organization wants to have AI adoption, it has to invest some time and money into it. Otherwise, people won't like it. What works well, and we have tried it here, but also, but mainly we got this feedback from the companies that we talked with, is to pick your champions and proactively give time to test the tools. Ideally by completely new projects that are taken as experiments. And I would also suggest to just use some AI tool. Even if it was not giving you such good results right now, it's very likely going to get better. And you need to change the mindset of the people so that they are not afraid of the AI tools, but they are actively trying to leverage it so they can build faster and they get less tied to the code base that they are writing. The last point is that from my perspective, you have to decide sometimes. We have spent quite significant time choosing the best AI editor. During this investigation phase, it changed about 4 times. So we then just said, okay, we are going to use what's the standard. We are going to invest in Cursor. And then when Juni came out, because we already have IntelliJ products, we are going to also make this available. But we are now sticking to Cursor, even if Windsurf is making some new announcement, or Ada is better, or Claude Code, or whatever. And we will be repeating this every few months so that we don't just waste time. You have to evaluate and then commit. The the last point that I would like to make is to actually not throw away the engineering practices. Like if you have a design system, you can probably get faster results with just using the design system instead of using AI to write the UI. If you have platform foundations, you probably don't want to change the tech stack. If you have static analysis that's working well, like what's the point of employing LLM for the same problem if it's just going to be less accurate and unreliable? And you definitely want to keep tests. Like LLM reviews are great, but they are not going to verify that your solution is working well. So which path do you want to take? Like product engineering or this stop AI culture that is also running in San Francisco? We've seen a lot of billboards like that. Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions? Okay, AI. What stood out most about AI adoption at the companies you visited in San Francisco compared to Rohlik? It is a difficult question because when you look at companies like Google and Netflix, the situation here in Rohlik is that you have 3 problems and 1 person. They have 3 teams and 1 problem. So it is very hard to compare how they are trying to leverage AI, and at the same time they are building a ton of internal solutions. So they are not really doing the evaluation on the market. So you can take some inspiration from the research that they do, but that's very generic. And then you ask them about the tools that they use, and it's all going to be internal. So that's the big companies. We also went to Devin AI and we went to Superhuman. We went to GitHub for several meetups and met with many startups. The tech stack and adoption is insane in these companies. Like they are really vibe coding a lot of big parts of the projects. They are, but like I was surprised that they mostly used Cursor AI. They mostly used GitHub with some code review tool that's built in, either Copilot or Graphite or something. Yeah, Copilot and Graphite was it. And that's basically it. Like you don't need any special magic. You just want to adopt the tools and you want to iterate fast. And everybody was doing full stack. Like they had specializations, but at the same time, they were not afraid to do data. They were not afraid to do front end, DevOps. It was just pure ownership. So that's it. And how JetBrains Juni compares with Cursor? How good is Juni? So I'm a little I'm slightly I would say I'm a hater of Juni right now because I think it's extremely slow. It's doing great for local changes. It's doing very good planning phase when you need to change code inside of certain scope. Cursor is much more magic, and it's very likely going to edit files outside of what you were actually meant to do. But if you need to generate a lot of code, which is when I'm usually touching AI, I just don't see a point of using Juni right now. Like I'm not saying that it's not going to be the future. I would love it because of course I'm using IntelliJ as the main IDE and I'm switching to Cursor because we are all using Java here, and Cursor it does not have very good Java tooling support. But until they fix the speed, it just doesn't work for me. Okay, and anything else? What are the best AI code review tools you use? That's a difficult one. Or like we have made the comparisons, and in the end, what we are using right now is we are just asking Devin or ChatGPT or something like that or Cursor to do the review. Because when you want to use some code review tool, you will have to commit to some subscription. Of course, we have quite a few people. It's not exactly cheap, and the tools are still evolving. One of the big problems is that we are running on GitLab, and the best tools are currently on GitHub. So, like the Graphite or like the Copilot code review or how it's called. So we are currently still evaluating what is the best move right now. We know that we want something, and the best outcome the best evaluation out of the standard tools definitely was CodeRabbit and Quodo merge, or it's probably called just Quodo. Yeah, merge is one of their other products. So Quodo and CodeRabbit. Okay. And I'll read the last question. Will standard coding become just lower level of process than the programmers don't understand semi? Does it happen with machine instruction with compilers? I have no idea. Like, I don't want to make these predictions. Let's see where we get. And the interesting part of our job, I would say, is actually building the product and not writing the code. So focus on that, and you won't have any trouble even if you are replaced, if the code is replaced by whatever comes up.